They said that he was invincible. They said that he was built different. They said that he could lose a wheel and still drop everyone while ordering an espresso mid-stage. But on July the 13th of 2022, something rare happened. The golden boy of world cycling cracked, and when he cracked, he shattered. This is the story of the day that Team Visma bike broke Tadej Pogačar like a baguette under a Belgian boot. This is the race that broke Tadej Pogačar. The crown and the complacency. The world met Tadej Pogačar in 2020 when he robbed the Tour de France on the final time trial like a Slovenian Ocean's 11. In 2021, he came back and made the Tour look like a junior's ride through the park. Smiling, joking, attacking for fun. It was dominance with a side of gelato. By 2022, Pogačar was no longer just a prodigy. He was the Tour's final boss. His competitors weren't racing to win, they were racing to survive. Expert commentator. Quote, after stage 6, people started whispering, this tour's already over. Tadej had yellow and he looked bored. But in the shadows, one team refused to bow to the Yellow Prince. Team Visma, or as they were known that day, the Dutch Death Star. The plan that wrote itself in blood. Stage 11, 151 kilometers, 3 Category 1 climbs, 1 summit finish on the soul-stealing Col de Granon, altitude 2,413 meters, misery incalculable. The plan was simple. Team Visma wasn't going to race Pogačar, they were going to erase him. Expert. Quote, they used Van Aert like a nuclear weapon. He went up the road in the break, and everyone knew it wasn't a breakaway, it was a warning. Van Aert was no longer the green jersey hunter, he was the sacrificial dragon. Quote, they kept stabbing him with little knives, one from Roglic, one from Vingegaard, and Pogačar, he fell for it every single one. The tactical meat grinder. Where was UAE Team Emirates? Good question. Mikel Berg, gone. George Bennett, crashed. Brandon McNulty, missing in action. Marc Soler, mentally still in La Vuelta 2021. Quote, Majika was the last man standing, but he looked like he was hanging on by dental floss. Then came the final blow. The Col du Granon, 11.3 kilometers at 9.2%, altitude high enough to kill dreams. By this point, Jumbo had turned the Tour into a cycling horror movie, and Pogačar, he was the final girl without a script. The crack. At 4.5 kilometers to go, Jonas Vingegaard launched, not a punch, a precision strike. Tadej tried to follow, but his face said it all. The tank was dry. The game was over. Quote, in cycling, there's a moment where you're no longer racing the others. You are racing your own body to not humiliate you on live television. The death march to the finish. Vingegaard crossed the line like a man who knew the future was his. Pogačar arrived 2 minutes and 51 seconds later, more than just a time gap. It was a chasm between dreams and reality. Pogačar said, quote, it was a bad day. I got attacked by Team Jumbo-Visma and they played it well. Congrats to them. I'll try to recover and go again. Joking through the pain, the post-race press conference felt like a funeral with snacks. The fallout. The cycling world exploded. Could Pogačar actually bounce back? Was the double Tour champion exposed? Had Team Visma created the blueprint to dethrone the King Tadej? Quote, Pogačar didn't just lose the jersey, he lost the aura. He bled. and when gods bleed, even the mortals start sharpening their knives. The aftermath and the truth. To his credit, Pogačar didn't fold. He fought back like a madman, but the damage was done. He couldn't put Humpty Dumpty back together again. DS interview, quote, "We planned for fireworks. Jumbo brought missiles." And Jonas, he didn't just win the Tour, he rewrote it. From that day forward, Pogačar wasn't just racing stages, he was racing ghosts. The legend ages. Years later, when fans look back at Tadej Pogačar's glittering palmares, they'll see Flanders, Strade, Liège, Lombardia. They'll see 2 Tours de France just buried beneath the glory. There'll be a scar shaped like stage 11 of the 2022 Tour de France. A moment when Superman found out he could bleed. They say what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Unless you're facing Wout van Aert, Jonas Vingegaard and Team Visma with spreadsheets from NASA. But legends aren't made by never losing. They're made by what happens after the loss. Quote, "The only thing stronger than a champion is a broken one who still fights." Visma's reaction. Equal parts science and smugness. After the final brutal climb up Col de Granon, which looked more like a cycling crime scene than a mountain pass, Team Visma didn't just celebrate. They orchestrated a masterclass in public gloating. Their PR team could have handed out binoculars just so the audience could fully appreciate how far behind Pogačar was at the summit. Vingegaard, all 58 kilos of polite Danish steel, gave the most passive-aggressive humble winner speech since the invention of microphones. Quote, "I'm just really happy. I didn't expect him to crack like that, but I guess we race smart." Translation: "We took your lunch money and left you walking home in socks." Meanwhile, Wout van Aert, the Hulk in yellow, did post-stage interviews like he had just dropped a mixtape and was waiting for it to go platinum. He admitted, quote, "We had a plan. It was risky. We all believed in Jonas. I mean, when you ride like 3 men, it helps. Gee, thanks Wout. Imagine me, Pogačar, realizing the guy who just chased down your every attack also sprinted for green jersey points and still had time to Instagram his recovery shake." Backstage meltdown at Camp UAE. Behind the scenes, UAE Team Emirates resembled a Netflix drama written by Tyler Perry and directed by Quentin Tarantino. The so-called Wolf Pack looked more like confused chihuahuas once Brandon McNulty and George Bennett exploded halfway up the mountain. Team boss Mauro Gianetti was spotted talking to mechanics while gesturing in ways that suggest multiple bicycles were about to be thrown off a cliff. Pogačar, typically unflappable and annoyingly smiley, gave a quote that sounded like the first line of a Greek tragedy. Quote, "I was feeling good until I wasn't." Haunting, chilling, almost Shakespearean. Or maybe just the natural result of being attacked by a team with more watts than a small power station. The media aftermath. Pogačar is mortal. Film at 11. Cycling's reaction was utter chaos. French media declared, "Le roi est tombé," the king has fallen. Front page had a picture of Pogačar looking like he'd just seen Jonas Vingegaard's watt data and considered switching sports. Meanwhile, Danish television may as well have declared a national holiday. Vingegaard was paraded through Copenhagen like a cycling messiah, stoic, slim, and somehow incapable of blinking in interviews. His stoicism became a meme, his performance a benchmark. Visma's sports director Grisha Niriman summed it up bluntly, quote, "You don't beat Pogačar by being better, you beat him by being smarter, and maybe by using Wout van Aert like a Swiss Army knife with an engine." Legacy check. Has Pogačar recovered? Since then, he's tried. He's won more races, he's smiled again, but every time the road tilts skyward and Jonas Vingegaard stands up on his pedals, the ghost of Col de Granon haunts the background like an unresolved family drama. And Visma? They sip their post-stage espresso with the knowing smirk of a team that once, only once, took down the golden boy, rinsed him, and still had energy left for a Twitter thread explaining how. The 2022 Tour de France wasn't just a race, it was a hostile takeover. Jonas didn't just win the yellow jersey, he evicted Pogačar, repossessed his aura, and handed him a very polite Danish defeat. Thanks for watching today's video. Please subscribe if this is your first time here to stay up to date with all of the latest cycling news, cycling drama and cycling results. Also leave a like on today's video before you go, and feel free to comment down below your opinions in the comment section. I'll see you guys in the next one.